Good day everyone. These presenters are from Group 7 and they are about to discuss the syntax of mother tongue. Allow me to introduce each and one of them. Abelia Crijame, Ali Zaiha, Altarejos Noralin, Asia Mary Miles, Austria Gina Allison. Good day everyone, my name is Zaiha Ali and today I'm going to discuss about syntax of mother tongue, the syntactic features of mother tongue. But for now, let's have the definition of the mother tongue first. So, mother tongue, this refers to person's native language, that is a language learned from birth. So this is also called as first language, dominant language, home language, and native tongue, although these terms are not necessarily synonymous. So mother tongue, this is the language that a human acquired from birth. So this is the language that we hear in our home from our family and to our relatives. So this is the language that we use in our house. So on the other hand, syntax in a broader perspectives of linguistics, syntax is the study of how words are ordered in human language, what rules are necessary to describe a particular language, and how can these rules differ across languages. Syntax is also concerned with the set of rules and principles in a language which relate to how words and phrases are arranged to create a well-formed sentences. So, syntax refers to the arrangement and structure of the words to form a sentence or a meaningful sentence. So, in this diagram, so it shows what the sentence is composed of. So, sentence is consist of its constituents, which are verb phrase and preposition phrase. So, under the verb phrase is the verb. So, while in the preposition phrase are the preposition, noun phrase, and noun. So, let's have some example of a sentence using a mother tongue. So since I am a Maguindanao, so I'm gonna use my mother tongue. So our example sentence is Kiman sa mangga. So Kiman sa mangga. So our verb here in our example is Kiman. So our preposition is sa and our noun is mangga. So when we translate it to Filipino, it will become kumain ng mangga. So as you can see, they have the same structure and the arrangement of the constituents of a sentence. So they have verb, preposition, and noun. So they have this same structure. So that's all.
Our topic for today is about syntax of mother tongue. So, the syntactic features of mother tongues are constituency and tree diagram, linear word order, and hierarchical structure. So, I am Mary Miles Asia, and I'm going to discuss what are constituency and tree diagram. So, a sentence consists of constituent and not of words. So, first, what is constituents? According to Wikipedia, constituent is a word or group of words that functions as a single unit within a hierarchical structure. So, all the words and phrases that make up a sentence are said to be the constituent of that sentence. It can be morpheme, word, phrase, or clause. Every sentence has constituents. Ibig sabihin, ang mga pangungusap is made up of parts that work together to make the sentence meaningful. So, next, the sentence is divided into two parts, which is the subject and a predicate. They made up of noun, phrases, or verb phrases. So the tree diagram is how the sentences are organized. So before we construct a syntax tree, we must know about the lexical category, or in other words, the parts of speech. So these are the lexical category. Now, noun is a word that names something such as a person, place, things, or idea. Adverb. Adverb is a word that modifies or describes a verb. Verb is an action word, and pronoun is a word that takes place or substitute a noun. Determiner is a word that placed before the noun to specify the quantity. Adposition is a cover term for prepositions and postpositions. And lastly, adjective. Adjective is a word that describe a noun. So the lexical category is important in understanding the sentence. Understanding lexical category are important to draw a tree diagram. So this is our tree diagram. This is an example of our tree diagram. So the tree diagram allow us to analyze the functions of a sentence. So our example or our sentence is the girl eat the chocolate. So the verb in this sentence is eat because this is the action word. And then the noun phrase is the chocolate, and our noun is this. The girl is our noun. Um, so in a sentence, words are grouped into phrases, and phrases can be grouped together to form a sentence. So this is a called tree diagram because it have a lot of branches. So this is the branch. This is the branch. This is what we call branch. So tree diagram have lots of branches. So this line are called the branch, and the higher lines are called the mother. So this is the mother, and the second line is the daughter. So every place or branches come together is called a nodes. Nodes indicate the set of ports that act together as a unit. So each node corresponds to a group of ports that are called constituents. So our topic is linear word order. So linear word order is the words in a sentence must occur in a particular order to convey the desired meaning. So this is the arrangement of word in a phrase, clause, or sentences. The words must occur in a particular order to convey or to provide an understandable meaning. This is example number 1. Linda looks at Sheena. In this sentence, Linda is the subject and Sheena is the object. Example number 2. At Sheena looks Linda. In this case, we arrange the word in a sentence and we come up with an unclear sentence. This example, Sheena looks at Linda. In this perspective, it is correct, but the desired meaning is completely different from the example number 1. This is the example number 1 above is Linda looks at Sheena. But this example is Sheena looks at Linda. We arrange it, but still, this is correct, but they have a different meaning. So our next topic is hierarchical structure. The individual words in a sentence are organized into natural, semantically coherent groupings, the largest grouping of all being the sentence itself. So first, what is hierarchy? Hierarchy refers to any ordering units or levels. So hierarchy gives important or it emphasizes the ordering units or level. So, in making a sentence, we will use the word first. So, pipili tayo ng mga salita na gagamitin natin. And then, those words can now create a phrase or phrases. And then, those phrases can now compose or construct a sentence. So, that is hierarchical structure. It means it follows a certain order. This group within the sentence are called constituent of that sentence. When we say constituent, it refers to the phrases because constituents and phrases are just the same. So if the phrases are connected to each other, it can create or construct a meaningful sentence. Next, the relationship between constituents in a sentence form the constituent structure of the sentence. So like what I've said earlier, kapag konektado or magkakonekta ang mga phrases sa isa't isa, makakagawa or makakabuo tayo ng isang pangungusap na maayos or may kahulugan. So that is how our hierarchical structure works. Hierarchical structure means it follows a certain order to create a word, then those words can create a phrases to create a sentence. So if you want to make a sentence, you must think first for the words you're going to use, and then the words can now be phrases and the phrases can be a sentence. So this is an example. There is a lot of beautiful flowers in Myla's garden. So this is our sentence example. So we will going to distinguish what are the phrases and words in this sentence. There is a word there, a lot, a word of, a word beautiful, a word flowers, a word in, a word mala, and a word garden. Then, so now we're going to identify what are the phrases in this sentence. So this is the first phrases. There's a lot. So phrases, the second one is beautiful flowers, and the third is Myla's garden. So if these phrases are connected to each other, so kapag pinagsama-sama sila, makakabuo tayo ng isang maayos na pangungusap. Thank you for listening. Hope you learned a lot. So now let's proceed to the next reporter. Thank you.
To explain the topic about the transformational generative grammar model. So, transformational generative grammar. In linguistics, transformational generative grammar, or TTG, is the part of the theory of generative grammar, especially of natural native language. So it says here that TGG is a branch of generative grammar theory in linguistics that focuses on the natural language. So generative grammar theory is a theory that claims that human language is formed by a set of fundamental principles found in human brain. like Chomsky, believe that our natural language is responsible for what we call universal grammar. Transformational generative grammar is also known as transformational grammar, which is a system of language analysis. It shows the relationship among the various elements of a sentence and among the possible sentences, and the process of rules which are transformations of sentence to express semantics with the help of surface structures and deep structures. So, it means that transformational grammar is a language analysis system that display the relationship between many components of a sentence and possible sentences as well as the rules process, which entails the modification of phrases to express the semantics utilizing surface and deep structures. So what is surface structures and deep structures? Surface structures and deep structures. When it comes to syntax, Noam Chomsky, as a famous linguist, is known for proposing that beneath every sentence in the mind of a speaker is an invisible, inaudible deep structure, the interface to the mental lexicon. The deep structures are converted by transformational rules into a surface structure that corresponds more closely to what is pronounced and heard. So, it says here that when it comes to syntax, linguist Noam Chomsky is famous for claiming that behind every sentence in a speaker's mind is an invisible, inaudible, deep structure that serves as the interface to the mental lexicon. So, malalaman natin si lexicon sa mga next report po. So, transformational rules change the deep structure into a surface structure that is more closely related to what is said and heard. So, the rationale is the certain constructions, if they were listed in the mind as surface structure, would have to be multiplied into 1,000 variations that would have been learned one by one. Whereas if the constructions were listed as the deep structure, they would be simple, few in number, and economically learned. So, it says here that the logic is the certain construction were listed as the surface structures in the mind. They would have to be multiplied into 1,000 different variations, and each of the which would have to be learned one by one, whereas if the construction were listed as a deep structure, they would be simple, few number, and easily learned. So, yung mga sa tulong ni surface structure and deep structures, may mga sentences na possible pala na magkaroon pa ng possible pa pala magkaroon siya ng marami pang structure ng sentence na mas maiintindihan natin siya ng deep pa, tapos mas simple siya dun sa una mong ginawa. So, yun po si surface structures and deep structures. So, background lang po yun ni surface tsaka ni deep structures. Si next reporter po yung mag-explain ng mas malalim pang ibig sabihin po neto. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. I'm Gina Allison, Austria, and I will discuss about aspects model or standard theory by Noam Chomsky, as presented in his book Syntactic Structure. So, in the year where the transformational generative grammar was formulated, it has gone through countless transformations and numerous changes as to how grammar provides a way in understanding language. So it is undergoing countless transformation and multiple innumerable alterations on how grammars give a mechanism into interpret language over the year. When the transformational generative grammar was developed. So next is Chomsky has rejected the interpretation and eliminated many of the transformational rules in the previous versions of grammar and replaced them with broader rules. So, we all know Chomsky, which is sometimes called the father of modern linguistics. He's known for his influence of linguistics, especially the development of transformational grammar. So he rejected the interpretations and eliminated many of transformational rules. He has discarded the higher grammar interpretation and replaced them with the broader rules. So next, according to him, the grammar of a language is a statement of what a person has to know in order to recognize an utterance as grammatical, but not a hypothesis of the process involved in either producing or understanding a language. So he believed that the grammar was directly responsible to the person's ability to understand and interpret mere appearance. So without making assumption or any assumption about the step needed to create or interpreting a language. So next is although several features of the newer version aspect of modern or standard theory differ at a deeper level, they still share the same syntactic features. So in this insight, difference or different level, both version that the transformational aspect model have the same syntactic features. And ayun lang, thank you.
Hello, I am Noralyn Altrios, and for my parts is aspects model or standard theory and four main components. So the first components is the base components. The base components produces or generates basic syntactic structures into sentence called deep structures. So here, if we said that syntactic structures into sentence called deep structure, for example, you, and add the other sentences like close the door. You close the door. Close the door is the deep structures. So the sentences that you made called deep structure is you close the door. So the second here is transformational component is what is the meaning of that? Transforms of change the basic structures into sentences. So dito naman po sa transformational component is magkakaroon po ng pagbabago. Di ba yung example ko kanina na you close the door? Dito sa transformational component, irarambo lang natin siya. Like magiging ano na siya. The door is closed by you. So, ayan po. Dahil narambol nyo po siya, nagkaroon po siya ng transformational component po. So, next slide. Phonological component. Give sentences a phonetic representation so that they may be pronounced properly or perfectly. For my example naman po dito, pag halimbawa, phonetic, paano nga ba i-pronounce ang phonetic in properly or perfectly pronunciation? So, phonetics, isa-isahin po natin siya. Phonetic. So, you can pronounce quickly to perfectly pronounce it. So, for the fourth components, semantic components deals with the meaning of sentences. So, the semantic components is the meaning conveyed by words, phrases, and sentences. Semantic includes a person, vocabulary, or lexicon. So, sa meaning of semantic of components po. That's all, and thank you for listening.